Hey you guys, welcome back to another content creation tip. I'm no longer naming them after the days of the week, FYI. I've got a chronic illness and yesterday the chronic illness had me. So to make things easier, I'm putting these out once a week for you. Today's tip is a continuation of Tuesday's tip where we talked about creating a business blog. Now we're going to talk about formatting that business blog, and I've got 5 pieces that I want you to remember. So piece number 1, when we're looking at the business blog or the article, I want you to chop it up into 5 pieces. This is super easy to remember. First, you've got your introductory piece. So you're talking about the topic, you're introducing it to the reader. Maybe you start off with a story. Storytelling in brands is big, and I'm telling you what, it is going to be evergreen too, because that's how people emotionally connect to you. The second piece, you're going to share with the reader anything that they need to know to follow along in the article. This might be vocabulary, it might be slogans, not slogans, it might be jargon they need to know, maybe it's slogans in there. Anything that the reader needs to have the right expectation on. And I say that because sometimes we might use a word and the reader will go, oh, I know what that means, but they really don't. They don't have the context that we're trying to give them. So make sure that you take the time to define for the reader exactly what you mean. The third piece of it is my favorite piece. It has to do with the bullet points. Within each bullet point, you want a point, 2 or 3 of supportive statements or sub-bullet points to enable you to have that social proof and say, I'm going to talk about this and here's why, and this is why it's true, this is why it's important. The fourth piece is when you move into closing out the article. Now, your article might be 7 paragraphs long. I'm not saying that you need 5 paragraphs. You may have multiple paragraphs per one piece or each piece or however it's shaking out depending on length and criteria and things of that nature. But in that fourth piece, you're going to be closing out your topics. You're going to be making a clear transition, moving from one topic to the next. That's really important to provide that closure to your reader and to be clear, now we're moving on. You might need some transitional content in this part as well. And the fifth and final piece has to do with your CTA, or for you seasoned salespeople, it has to do with that call to action. The call to action generally defines that you are inviting the reader to take an action, and that action is going to bring them closer to you. They're going to more deeply engage with you. They're going to interact with you. You might give them a free 15-minute discovery call and ask them to click a link and set up a call. You might give them a link to your social media. You might provide a link for them to sign up for their email, for your email. That's up to you, what your call to action is going to be, and it generally is whatever promotion you're trying to get out at the time or whatever your objective is, if you're building brand awareness or trying to actually get a prospect to speak to you. That's up to you. But those are the 5 pieces. The introductory is the first part, and that's the overview of the entire article. Then you're introducing the topic and you're explaining anything that the reader needs to know. The third piece is where you're talking about the bullet points and substantiating those with those sub-bullet points. In the fourth piece, then you're closing it out. You're reminding the reader, hey, this is why I gave you this information. These are the takeaways I want you to have so that you have gained new knowledge by the time you're done reading this article. And finally, you're closing with the call to action. I follow templates like clockwork, you guys. I use it in blogs, I use it in emails, I use it in scripts, whatever it is. If I can break it down, then I know I can approach the page with a lot less intimidation, then I'm able to fulfill it. Once I get that content out there, then I start editing it. So I'm just sharing a little bit of what works for me. Hopefully it will work for you. And before I let you go, I want to remind you to please tune in to the Go Book Yourself podcast, available wherever podcasts are available. And you might want to know, behind the scenes, I'm working on the Go Book Yourself book. That's going to give you all the tips and tricks of how to easily, effectively create a compelling and a professionally executed book that can stand next to any other book out there. It's amazing. It's cool. These are all the things that you need to know. More information on that will be coming out. For now, just have a great night, and I'll see you back here next week. Thanks.